Hey, Mr. Christie, I hope you're doing well. This is mine and Alyssa's final project on the space race. Who was involved? The space race was a race between two different countries on the opposite side of the world to achieve the first in spaceflight capability. These two countries were the United States and the Soviet Union. The United States and the Soviet Union, for a while now, have had tension between them, and the space race was definitely a main factor in that tension. Location. Now, planning, and a bunch of the background stuff of all this probably was taking place in houses, coffee shops, offices and all that. Making sure the plans were right and all those But the main places where the space race took place was definitely NASA, the Soviet Union space program, and of course the moon. When did this take place? The space race took place in the middle of the 20th century, 1957 to be exact, where a time a man on the moon was only a dream, but between these two countries, they would make it a reality. The picture shown on the right shows of an American newspaper showing that a Soviet Union astronaut entered space before the U.S. did.
What happened during the space race? Sputnik 1. The Soviet Union launches Sputnik 1, the world's first satellite. The United States tried to respond and join the race by making a rocket, but they ended up failing. First human in space. The Soviets and the United States were trying to send the first human in space. However, the Soviets beat the US to it by sending Yuri Gagarin to orbit the entire Earth. John Glenn. The US sends John Glenn to orbit Earth, and the US finally enters the space race. Apollo 11. Neil Armstrong is on Apollo 11, and he's the first man to land on the moon, which is a huge win for the United States. How come I can't click next?
Try again. There you go.
Oh, wait. On the left is Yuri Gagarin. He was a Soviet Air Force's pilot and cosmonaut who became the first human to journey into outer space, and he achieved a major milestone in the space race. And on the right is John Glenn, and he was the first American to ever orbit the entire Earth, and he circled it 3 times in 1962. The final outcome of the space race. The space race happened because the US and the Soviets were stuck in a Cold War. And after the Soviets launched the first satellite into space, the Americans tried to compete also by sending a rocket, which failed. And this starts the race between the two countries. The Soviets start the space race with the launch of Sputnik. However, the United States eventually win the entire race when Neil Armstrong is the first man to land on the moon. And this is our We're Excited.